Okay, ONTG session 29, and we're just getting started with an introductory recap from last week. And Hammy's about to show us how he made an enemy of General Miriam. Or the floor is yours, Hammy.
Oh, it was a nice night. Food was everywhere. The drink was flowing. It's strong drink. Gotta say, it's some strong drink. Was coming home pleasant as all get out. Three ladies were standing there wearing shields, and I said, "Evening, ladies," which is apparently nothing to be said to a Kith general who is on night watch and not fond of very small people at that. I quickly apologized and got out of there, but she made note of me and made note to make it clear that she was now an enemy of mine and would seek me out.
That's right. She despises your kind, those of poor breeding and small stature. So fun.
Which is why Gerda stayed home and kept her head down.
That's right. And it is the dawn of the 11th day of harvest. Today there is a +3 spell check modifier. So those of you with arcane or holy abilities will find your condition greatly improved. But poor Horace wakes in the common room, beaten, bloodied, and bruised. It's a short recollection of the previous evening.
Does he require healing?
Ethan, why don't you show us how Horace came into this sorry state?
Aaron, can I interrupt for a second? What do you mean by show versus tell? Because I guess I don't understand. We're telling since it's all audio,
right?
So
I think, and I don't know for sure, Nils. I mean, I'm just using some of the prompts that I've been reading about in this context, and I think the idea around show is not so much just a simple narration of what happened, but more about how things came to be, right? Like, what are the contributing factors that led to Miriam's anonymity for Hammy, right? Or how did, what are the contributing factors that led Hammy to encounter these three warriors on night watch, right? And those are not just those aren't just a strict narration of what happened, but they're like all these kind of threads being tied together. And I'll tell you, I don't really understand this kind of new age sort of role-playing stuff, this indie kind of gaming, but there are a few sets that I picked up and I'm trying to figure them out. One that I'll probably torture you guys with at some point called Swords Without Master, which is like a sword and sorcery storytelling game, basically. So, but I'm trying to build up some reference materials for myself, like a quick reference sheet and some supporting materials for the players, so it's not too difficult. Dave Sokolowski and one of his buddies and I worked through like the walkthrough rules, where the rules sort of lead you procedurally through the system. And and if I ask you to do this, like show us how Horace came to this sorry state, and you don't know what to do with that, just say, I don't know, or just, make it simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate or lengthy or anything, right? It's your opportunity to contribute and shape.
I saw it as adding flavor to the
setting, right? The scene and the setting and the environment and by some extent the world, right?
Hello, guys.
Hey, Tom.
Hey,
Mike. How are you?
Doing.
Tom, Mike.
We're a party.
So we're just running through a recap from last week, and
sorry for the holdup. Was hoping you guys would just get going, but
we've had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we've been fine. So Horace, are you up for this, or
sure
for my request?
No, sure.
They call it a demand.
Well, when we initially entered this fine place, there was this very, very attractive, well dressed and armored lady standing in the corner. And me being me and my pretty self, went over to her and tried to make my move. Well, it worked. It was real good. And
right. And what she has to say to you is, I have not seen such a handsome creature for many an age. Surely thou must love me, for I am not. Am I not beautiful, O mortal?
To which, of course, I told her she was exquisite.
Be rude to do otherwise.
Indeed. And so from there, I'm sure my companions can guess how matters move forward. However,
a gentleman never speaks of such things. Truly never a knight.
Yeah, true. Kissing.
Apparently her sister guards didn't take kindly to this.
Yes, there was something as I made my way back after a night of fun, when I found myself outside my room, and I found myself beset by 3 guards who decided to lay upon me their weapons.
Beat the snot out of it.
Something about hooking up with one of their guards.
Yes, with one of the purebred, not some foul mortal man. And they beat you soundly with the butts of their spears, and you could do little to fight back against them in your sorry state, shall we say?
You're drunk and post-coital.
Mm.
Yes, indeed.
So as a reminder for Horus, you awake on the 11th day of harvest, beaten and bloodied, just inside the common area of the quarters that have been granted to you by Empress Alareth, who's not yet made her presence known to you, nor have you attempted to gain audience to her throne room. But and Horus, you've been stripped of all of your equipment, arms and armor. I think that we had run through a procedure last week about what you may or may not still retain, and I asked you to update your character sheet accordingly.
Yeah.
And the good news was you had not yet taken possession of your new armor.
Exactly. I need to get a new weapon and a shield and maybe a helmet, but
I got a shield.
Mike, let me just quickly read you in about where we ended the session last week, or where we began the session last week that you missed, and you haven't been able to catch up on the recording. But the party had descended into the pit beneath the standing stones that you found.
We found the red or the black wall that had a face on it or something.
Right, and the black wall began to speak, and what you came to find was that entombed in this pit was, or imprisoned in this pit was a deity, a patron, a god of the court of chaos, Retromax. Maybe a lesser known deity, maybe a demigod, if not a deity in his own right, trapped here in this pit for his trifling in the worlds of men and kith. And he offered to aid you in your escape from the lands beneath the Dragon Wall, but he needs a vessel to carry him. So Retromax Ridian had volunteered to be that vessel. And
so cool.
And then the party quit the north and started marching south back towards the palace, because Retromax is bent on revenge against the Empress Alareth. You had an encounter.
The bone dragon's free.
Right. And you had an encounter here with some more moth riders who attempted to entrap you all with their nets, but were fairly unsuccessful. The party beat them off and then continued traveling south again, and then had an encounter with some maidens bathing in the Star Lake, Kith maidens, who greeted your party cordially and escorted you back towards the palace. But by the time you arrived, by the time the party arrived here, oops,
You were all dead.
around the mound, the mortals had to stop for rest, and the Kith just simply continued on their way to the palace. And then on the next day, you entered the palace and were greeted with a great fanfare and cacophony, almost this parade of maidens streaming out of the palace. And you realize quickly through your observations that
it's a trap.
It's a trap. Show us where the Holy Grail is.
That's right. And then the spanking.
Oh, I've been very bad too.
Oh, lots of spankings.
Right. And the party disappeared within the walls of the palace. So why don't you
and the only Kith that we've run into inside are female.
That's right. That's the point that I wanted to make quite clearly, was that there seemed to be you've seen no male Kith.
And I have no
On
problem
the
with that.
inside. But
Were any of the Moth Riders or Hunters male, or those were all female as well?
Right. And every Kith, now that you think back on it, has all been of a female persuasion.
What?
Huh.
And we figured last week you weren't there because you were riding around on your moth.
Right. Yes. So, and what the other big key event from last week was that the party spent the evening in the palace, feasting and dining and carousing as only adventurers can do. And
can be made up like this.
Right. And they also, everyone had an opportunity to level up. So
cool.
Why don't you maybe what do you think was happening with Gib during this time when the party was traveling, and maybe you were cruising around on your moth, or what do you how do you want to fit yourself into the story here? I can do it for you if you like, or and I would also like to give you an opportunity to level up, since the other players did too, assuming you've had enough sessions to get you.
So it's been technically a day or 2 days now.
1 day. One full day.
Gibbs been missing.
Yes.
So with Gibbs' affinity and attraction to interesting looking mushrooms, while he was flying around and having this bird's eye view capacity that he never thought he would have before, basically upon exiting, when after you guys made the deal, and then Gib when flying around, he happened to spy a remote location seemingly full of different types of mushrooms.
Yes, a glade within the woods here.
Yes,
perhaps. I think that would be most appropriate.
And landed, and maybe a little too eagerly or brazen, decided to think that this new mushroom that he discovered, one of them, was going to give him the strength that the previous one did. But instead, he realized that the world around him was changing in many, many different ways. Melting, burning, freezing, watering, gluing, gooping, and thankfully he was able to ride the moth. The moth kind of like just went along for the ride, and
right. And when you landed in this forest glade, far to the north here, and abandoned your companions to your more baser needs,
scientific.
You did discover this fabulous grove of mushrooms, and you began to pluck them and munch on them, and hoping to find one of those golden star caps, which would imbue you with the strength of 20 men.
He looks upon that time more fondly than he can think of anything else. Upon tasting pure light.
Right. And when the light burst from your mind and you began to see things that you had never seen before, you began to notice that the trees within this surrounding this glen were swaying with feminine-like grace. And as if they were some sort of outward manifestation of beautiful female tree spirits with golden hair and large green eyes.
No.
Oh, tree nymphs.
And their eyes dance with motes of light like moonbeams shining down on you. But these eyes have no pupils. And a few of these trees enwrapped you in loving embraces, kissing you tenderly with their small branches and soft leaves.
And Gibbs definitely cool with interspecies, you know.
Definitely cool.
Well, I think we all are. I think we've determined that.
Horses, she's pretty babies.
And this is how you spend your respite of the 10th day of harvest, languishing in this glen with your moth, perched nearby. And this is the opportunity for you to level up your character. So you can take your hit die and any new spells which would be granted to you by these tree spirits.
Okay.
And you can work on that as you have time throughout tonight's session.
Yeah. I'll roll my hit dice right now, though.
Sure.
To see what I go up to, and then we can carry on. I'm happy with that.
Is it I think it's a D4 for wizards, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something crappy.
It's something crappy like that. Any Constitution modifier for you?
Which one would that be?
Stamina.
Pardon me, stamina. Wrong system.
It's a +1.
Okay, so that'll give you 2 hit points.
Okay. Yeah.
I rolled shitty in Nils's game and then found out Nils had already rolled for me, which was much better. So I went with that.
There you go.
The day dawns on the 11th day of harvest, in which you'll receive a +3 to spell checks today. My question for you is, what do you want to do now that you're far here to the north? You saw your companions march south to the palace, and you had a vision of them dining in the court at the court of Elareth. What will you do?
Yeah, so Gib kind of wakes up and is like, oh, looks around, and kind of was like wondering, like, then all of a sudden realizes that of the journey he just took, and realized that it's been more than a day, and is like, oh, holy crap, oh my god, but remembers that was the way that the group was going to go.
I bet the moth knows the way.
And then hops on the moth and gathers up a few other mushrooms that will be with very delicately, doesn't breathe any of the spores or anything like that.
Are you just taking a sampling from
a couple of the ones that I found, let's say.
Okay.
And because he's wary, he just had this big journey, spiritually, magically, and interplanetally,
and
existentially, yeah. But yeah, hops on the moth and takes off towards the.
Fare thee well, lady tree spirits.
Looking around, then looks at his his schlong to see if it's full of splinters or if it's okay.
It's a little raw.
Raw, but still nonetheless eerily satisfied.
Yeah, sticky like sap.
Yeah, a little sappy.
You're doing better than Horace, that's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Horus, unfortunately, is sticky with white blood cells.
Which reminds me, does he require healing? Is he missing and so on?
He is. He's been reduced to a single hit point.
Ooh.
Sorry, pardon me, a single hit die. I think we rolled that randomly for you last session, right?
9 hit points.
And you're at 9 hit points now of a total potential
of like 44.
Okay. And I think also my recollection was that you had visited the armorer within the court of Alareth, and they had agreed to fit the Kith plate to you.
Yep.
That you found back at the Kingspire, well beneath the Kingspire. Why does everything happen underground? I don't know. And
what is dungeon crawl classes?
Right. And but it was going to require 2 days of labor. Does my memory serve me correctly?
Right. And yesterday was the first day, I believe.
Yesterday was the first day. Or yes, yesterday would have been the first day. So today is the second day of labor.
Yeah.
You do require some. You can certainly be healed by your companions, and I guess who should we? Ooh, that looks like a point of disapproval.
That's a point of disapproval.
In fact, that's disfavor to start, Peter, because
first thing in the morning, that's a 1.
Yeah, so it's a D4 on your disapproval table. Let me bring it up for you.
I have to interrupt and ask. Did wood?
What about what?
You broke up a ton.
You got wood, yes.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Somebody got the joke.
And he did not have to trade any sheep for
it.
But you did trade. Yes.
Where's my disapproval table?
I'm getting it. I'm bringing it up for you now. I'm just looking for it in my Google Drive. It is in my role-playing stuff.
I'm sorry, Horace. I'll try again, but I think I just pissed off Ildevar.
It is in my DCC stuff.
Could you stop fighting your problem?
No.
Ildevar. Custom disapproval table. And you rolled the 3.
Yes, unless luck adjusts it, then I rolled a 2.
Unfortunately, luck does not adjust this.
Okay.
The proper rites must be observed, Gerda. All casting times are doubled until the next sunrise. So spells that might take you an action to cast require
2 actions.
Or whatever the time is to cast that spell, right?
Very well, but I'm going to try to heal him again and take twice as long to do it.
Okay.
Twice as long, twice as thought.
So that's a 20. And a 20 gives you 3 dice.
Okay, let's see how we do. Okay.
How far are you down still?
I'm down 18 still.
You have a lot to lose. All right, that's an 18. That gets you 2 dice.
Okay, let's see how we do this time. Wow. Geez, I can't roll to save my life again.
You might have to.
Oh, okay, this healing is going on. And Gib, you're winging your way back to... winging your way back to the palace.
27. That's 4 dice.
4 dice. Hey, 20. We're back at full. Thank you. Feeling much better.
So each healing attempt that you made there, Gerda, took twice as long as possible as you kind of observed all the proper rites and rituals and incantations and turning in circles when appropriate.
And pronouncing things very carefully.
Right. Enunciation being key and proper. Gib, you arrive at the palace.
Okay.
You can see some moths fluttering about. What would you like to do? Someone takes quick notice of you and starts waving, like their arms overhead, like side to side, as if they're kind of like trying to direct you down towards what you see is almost like a giant pod that's to the south of one of the main courtyards.
So this, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's just going to say you can see some moths crawling about it.
Like it's a food for them?
Right. Or maybe a kennel or a stable for them.
Okay. Gib will quickly figure out a way to without hurting the moth, but kind of like mark it so that he knows which one it is, like put something somewhere or do something to it.
Pee on it.
And then
what would you use to mark it with? These moths are fairly colorful and slightly unique. You might be able to memorize its patterns or its markings, or you might find another way to mark it or have it mark you.
Let's say that I had a piece of grass that was long and stuck in my in my robe, and I take it out and I tie it to one of the to an area where I can just get it around.
Okay.
On the seat on the you know, the riding gear.
On the harness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
and then since he had that vision or that illusion, you know, or that illusionary vision of the thing, he'll go off and ask is in a way that's indicative of knowing where the feast happened.
Oh, right. So you wave down towards this giant pod, and you're sort of helped off the moth, and you're greeted, you know, very friendly by these 3 or 4 what you could only be described as stable girls, and they sort of usher you towards this stairway that kind of winds down around the outside of the pod, but it's almost like part of the leaf itself as you're sort of scampering down. And when you turn and look back over your shoulder, you see the first thing they do is start removing the harness and the gear off the moth, and you see this this waft of the grass that you had carefully tied to the harness sort of flutter away in the wind. But you do find your companions. They're kind of just rising and stirring themselves after what appears to be a hard night reverie in this great circular common room of this big stone wrought hall. And there are like passageways leading off from this circular chamber in lots of different directions. And there's been a great breakfast laid out on a table, and there's a few you know, spilled goblets and remains from a feast the night before, and you can see there are a few serving wenches snoozing, you know, in a comfortable, if not sisterly, embrace beneath one of the tables. And you are now all back together.
Yay!
I show who's all in the party right now?
So I think we have Horace, Rydian, Gerda, and Gib. That's 4, right?
Yep.
So an opportunity for one more.
So at this time, I tell them what happened, and I show Rydian and Gerda the mushrooms that I found, and that we'll have to experiment with them in a future time when time allows, so that I don't lapse into another lost day.
Another stupor.
When we could afford to lose a day, yes.
Yeah, we could afford to lose a day.
Horace is kind of like scrambling for bed sheets because he's not really wearing anything.
Right, yeah. Horace he's got this great huge sheet draped around himself.
He will go out and look for some clothes and other things.
Okay. The clothes that you can find are offered to you by slender kith maids, and there's a pair of suede breeches with the big flared bell bottoms that come up to about your mid calf and don't really fasten at the waist, and they're awfully snug in the rear.
But you look good walking away.
Yeah, and they offer you a blouse of if it could be called that, but it sort of rides up to your midriff. So these are the clothes that they have, that the best thing that they have that could fit you, unless you wanted to take one of the guards' cloaks. That's certainly an opportunity.
No, I think I've learned not to mess with the guards.
Tansy, the one that that you had your tryst with the evening before, offers you her cloak. It's heavy and it's black.
That's like a veteran's jacket. They will kill you for that.
Well, I mean, she's offering it, so Horace isn't the brightest guy in the world.
Great. We're going to need a new fighter.
Okay. All right, great. So you guys are beginning your day here in the palace of Elareth, trapped beneath the dragon wall. Rydian has been muttering to himself, as he often does.
Always does.
And Gibbs just returned from some amazing trip.
A couple of them, actually.
Literally.
Trip is relative.
What do you guys want to do with your day?
First off, I'm happy to bring a luck battery if you want, and I'm also happy to let someone else bring a second character for XP. But I think we all left last time.
Garrett show up because Peter and I both had our secondary characters in here.
Oh, Garrett, the second cleric.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll give him an opportunity to level up too.
Yep.
Does that mean that you want to play Gerda or Hammy tonight, Peter?
Oh, I'm playing Gerda.
Okay.
He's just so fun.
Okay. Cool.
And I'm playing.
So
Hammy's going to lay low, trying not to get killed by the general.
Right.
So he's out for tonight.
Garrett awakes, in Horace's room, like in a tangle of bed sheets, like he had just passed out the day before. It's like, what's happening? So exhausted from your travels, and he's now with the party.
Does that mean he gets to do his level up?
Unfortunately, he doesn't.
No,
unless you want to spend a full day here resting and recuperating within the palace, which you certainly could do. You'll come and roll for another carousing check, and then we'll move on to the 12th day.
Well, I know that my armor isn't done until the end of this day, right?
We have to wait till the armor. That's true.
Do we really?
Well, yeah.
Plate mail.
He absorbs a lot of damage that we would otherwise have to absorb, Nils.
Good point.
But tomorrow we can go kill some people.
Isn't he, Horace?
What?
He's staying in tonight.
Oh, Garrett's definitely. Oh yeah. Horace is no sleeping around today. He has some business to attend to.
Which is
the matter of obtaining a sword and a shield.
Okay.
Because armor's great, but if you have nothing to fight back with, you're just
a target.
You're just another peasant to be ridden down, eh?
Pretty much, you're just a shiny peasant.
Okay.
Just a well-dressed one.
So remind me of who the demigod is in again?
Retromax is the demigod that's possessed Rydian.
Rydian, right, yeah.
We're kind of hiding out in him because he's not made his presence known since we encountered the maidens. And
sure.
Aaron made a point last week of pointing out that he can almost not even sense him right now. He knows he's in there somewhere. So here's my theory before we go much further. Number one, we don't want to tell the what's-her-face that we've met Retromax or the Bone Dragon. We just say we just came out of the wall. Like this is our first encounter anywhere. Okay. Number two, my theory is that Retromax is waiting. He's sliding low because they would stop him if they knew he was there. And he's waiting until we're close enough to the Empress to jump out and kill her, like the Duke with the poisoned tooth in Dune. But we got to let Duke Harkonnen get closer.
Right. But Horus just had sex with
one of the guard, and then got his ass kicked for it, which I can't say is that disheartening, because it's kind of
no. I mean, it's kind of a fair trade.
It is.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. It's a pretty good night.
He's still smiling, so it's fair.
Yeah, so it was more than fair.
Exactly. It had certainly been a while.
So you guys wanted to you don't want to spend another day resting, so
I'm happy to spend a day resting until his army's ready.
Garrett can level with the rest of the group. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we have to wait around anyway.
Okay, good. So we're going to do the carousing table again because you're spending another day in a urbanized area. And it'll also give Mike a chance to play along with that too, though his last encounter in the wooded glaive was pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There's a gamble here.
So we'll just run through our camping checklist. If I can find my reference. Here it is. So nobody has to eat any food because you're being fed like crazy.
Yay.
And by the way, Mike, one of the spells I gained was Food of the Gods. So we have to worry a little less about...
That's all covered now.
Yeah, now we don't have to keep bringing in Garrett just for food.
No, theoretically we're covered.
Yeah.
Everybody, go ahead.
Neutral, right?
Yeah.
Good. So it won't be throw up.
No, in fact, it appears out of the dirt and rocks and wood.
Yeah, it'll just be like regular food then. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Nobody has to eat food. Thieves and halflings can recover a point of luck. Wizards can recover a point of spell burn. However, Nils, you're going to lose a point of agility, strength, and constitution.
I meant to ask, there's no way I can use cure condition as opposed to heal to help him with that?
Not with spell burn, no. This is like, the effects of magical and arcane energies racking the body of a spellcaster.
Sure. So it's like a long-term, slow drain spell burn, basically.
Right. So Retromax is sort of leeching off of Rydian's life forces, like his essence, I guess.
Well, then Gerda may not be able to healing spell, but she's going to make sure he's eating, and he's a little crazy, but she's going to make sure he's as physically strong as he can be.
Okay.
And keep an eye on him just so if he's starting to act in a way the Kith notice, I can kind of shield him.
Kick him in his shin a little bit.
Right. Everybody can recover a hit point and reset your disapproval and recover full stamina because you've been resting well in the Palace of Alarith.
So I can recover my full stamina?
Stamina burn. Yours is slightly different.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
He was helpful.
And today is the 12th day of harvest. There is a +3 to all spell checks today.
Ooh, so Garrett levels up?
And Garrett levels up. Oh, and while you're doing that, Ethan will do the carousing tables.
Cool.
Who wants to start?
I will, because Gerda's staying in to pray and do everything to make amends for the previous day's disapproval.
So is she going to
basically lay low, not leave.
Lay low again? I was going to ask if maybe you were going to oops. That's the wrong hat. Let's see view.
I figure I got some prayers to deal with.
Why don't I see the view maybe? document outline. Okay. There is general carousing, thieving about town, the dark arts, bazaar of the gods, or keeping a low profile.
What's
Sounded
Bazaar
like-
of the Gods?
Well, what is the bazaar of the gods?
That's where Ericor went to try to cleanse himself.
Oh. No, I think I will lay low and practice my prayers.
Okay. Why don't you roll a d12?
I can do that. You're attacked by rats. Ooh.
No.
Does luck modify it?
No.
Okay. I have a low luck, so I always like to be honest because I might fuck myself here.
Right. So Gerda is spending the day trying, quiet meditation, contemplation, observing some of the natural gardens and relics that are about. And then she notices a procession of Kith maidens. So you know that these women aren't actually maids. They're hundreds of years old, wearing long flowing robes, white robes, which is quite peculiar. And Gerda follows these robed and hooded Kith in this procession, right? Mm-hmm. Curiosity is piqued.
Yep.
Piked.
No,
piqued.
Piqued. No, it's piqued. It piqued my interest.
And they begin singing. They begin a quiet song, very melodic and harmonious, and you're just kind of drawn along and swept into this procession until it's so slowly and subtly changing from this melodic and pleasant tune to some sort of some chanting, and then some downright arcane screaming as you find yourself beneath the palace in some dark labyrinth. There's an altar laid out and a sacrifice going on, and blood is splattering everywhere.
Fucking witch elves.
Why don't you roll again for me? A d30, this time on the dark arts table, but take a +5 to your roll. But.
Choose dark arts. 25 + 5 is a 30.
Oh, 30. Jeez, oh. At the top of every table.
Oh, fuck. I'm not doing this on purpose.
Okay,
I swear.
I'm going to read.
Let's get mine done quick.
I'm going to read the introduction for you.
Oh, there's an introduction.
And then I want you to show us how this manifests for Gerda. Mighty eldritch sorcery. Arcane researches and experiments have made you has made an incredible magical breakthrough. One worthy of the greatest sorcerers. Roll a d8 to determine your benefit.
Mine?
Yes. Actually, I should maybe make it a penalty. 4.
Can I give it to Gib?
In fact, this is going to be a penalty for you because it's so abase and affronting to you. You lose a d4 hit points permanently.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Wow.
2.
Poor Gerda.
Can you show us how this happened to Gerda? She found herself swept into this ritual of sacrifice and debauchery.
I wouldn't say she was swept into it because she was trying to keep a low key, and she isn't going to be stomping in there in her banded armor and traveling cloak and joining Kith and White. But she is in the shadows just where the light hits the shadows, and you could smell the copper of the blood hitting everywhere. It was almost like a mist. It was just so fine and arterial spray. It was almost hallucinogenic, and the smoke and the chanting,
incense,
the lights that came out. Something came out. Something happened, and the light came into my eyes, and it burned to the core of me, and I fell to my knees, and I started choking on the dust. And as I came to, Everyone was gone.
Oh, they'd left you in the labyrinth alone. I love it.
So now I got to figure out how to get the hell out of here.
Right. So you guys lose track of Gerda for the day. You will kind of return and recover on the dawn of the 12th day, Peter or Gerda. But
minus
I
permanent
like
2 hit points.
minus permanent 2 hit points. Yeah. Who's next?
This is why you should never stay in and have a quiet night home.
Ridian, Gib, Horace, you guys are all like, I don't know if I want to roll on this table.
I'm just figuring out Garrett's new spells because they're fantastic.
Got you.
I'll go. I'll go for a go.
So there's general carousing, thieving about town, the dark arts, bazaar of the gods, and keeping a low profile. I feel like Pat Sajak or something on Jeopardy, right? Reading off the categories
with one of the wenches like.
I'll take the dark arts for 200. Pat.
Yeah. What's behind dark arts?
Show us thieving about town.
So we haven't. Have we done this in this game?
Not in this game. So this is
No.
Stefan Tourville used to do this in his game.
Yeah, right. So this is the first time, right?
Yeah.
I remember. So Gib would technically want to go dark arts. That's what.
Okay. Sure.
Right,
Roll me a D30.
A D30.
A D30. A 2. A 7. What did you get? And you can modify that by your luck if you like.
How did I only get a 7 out of that?
Because the dice are meaningless for the funny shaped polyhedral.
They're just there to make noise and look pretty.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Like many of my ex-girlfriends.
Okay. And then you said I could modify it by what?
By your luck.
By my luck. And that's a +1. So does that go up to an 8?
Yes.
Wow, that's strange. Because I'm showing it's way more than, I guess it's right. Yep.
It's an artifact of the macro, Mike, because before you might remember the funky dice when you clicked on a D30, nothing happened. It just threw a number to the chat window.
Okay.
Which is so automatic.
So I added to the macro to roll other dice with it, but they're just for window dressing.
Okay.
All right, here's the introduction, and you can show us how this happens for you. You procure an apprenticeship with a dark sorcerer, but alas, your greed is overcome, and you fled in the night with a collection of purloined scrolls and writings.
Nicely done, Gib.
Yeah. So Gib was at first, since he's a lawful practitioner of the art, realized that that he had been lied to about the true beliefs of this wizard, and so then in turn decided that the best thing to do would be to scoot off.
Okay, so this sorceress made it out like she was kind of a lawful bent as well, but you soon discovered her darker, baser, chaotic natures. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you kind of made your excused yourself from her presence, but not before you purloined a few scrolls and writings. Is that right?
Sure. Yes, he saw some that he felt that as now that he realized that she was truly a practitioner of the dark arts, that they would be best that she didn't have those.
Okay. All right. Make a luck check for me.
Really
D20?
for her own protection.
D20, and you want to roll less than or equal to your luck.
So it's 14.
These spells are fun.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, so these writings contain no mere mummery, but a true magic. Roll a, what level are you? D?
Now I'm 4.
You're level 4?
Mm-hmm.
Roll a D4 for me. Is that a 3?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I'm looking at a text document, and I'm looking at
Yep,
the
3.
3. Yeah, so this is one random 3rd level spell.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh.
And
okay,
this spell, if you have any unused slots, you can learn this spell now if you have any unused slots, or when you gain your next level.
well, technically, I did just level up, and I don't have a spell yet.
Okay, so you
Well,
can.
what do you know?
You can slot it in there, even if this is beyond sort of your normal casting. You know, the strength and the potency of the scroll that you found allows you to learn this 3rd level spell.
Woohoo!
But we will roll its mercurial effect when it occurs. When it's cast, because you've not cast it before. You don't know how it's going to manifest itself in this world.
I like doing it that way. It's more fun.
And if you want to add some added mystery to it, you can you can roll the random spell when you cast it, or maybe you've derived some of its real meaning. That's your choice, though.
Yeah, for shits and giggles, let's say that it's since it's 3rd level, and so technically a 4th level wizard cannot cast a 3rd level,
Right.
Not even yet. It's 2nd levels. So let's say that it's still unknown to Gib. In other words, he's really quite confused about like how this is manifesting itself.
Right. You can see the incantations, and you know the words that need to be spoken.
But they don't mean anything to Gib. It's like water or fire or up, down. So it's like
Say kill or save.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know. So
I like it. So just go ahead and note that down on your character sheet, and consume one of your spell slots from your leveling. I don't know if you have more spells to gain or not.
No, I just get one more for this level, so this will be it. So in an oh shit moment, Gibbs gonna fire something off.
Yeah, Ridian had something similar happen to him as well, but I think we don't even know what level the spell is, do we?
No, and I can only cast it once per
session.
Once per session.
That was the Ericor got a spell that was once per session, but Ridian got a spell that was like once per adventure module.
Oh, what? Yeah.
I think I thought that's how you described it.
I can't remember.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
That's fine with me, and it's cast with the D16 instead of, and we don't even know what it is, right? Yeah, right. Forbidden sorceries. Yeah, and it was one random spell. We don't even know which spell it is yet. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
And you haven't cast it yet?
Not yet.
Wow.
It was just yesterday in the palace when one of the sorceress was whispering some dark arcane arts into his ear. And in fact, it might have even been the same sorceress that you had met, and waved her finger at you. All right, Ridian, do you want to roll?
Yeah.
And which table would you like?
I'll go, since I did the Dark Arts last time, I'll go with Bazaar of the Gods.
Ridian?
Yes, something.
It's probably safer than staying home.
It's a D30 modified by luck.
Hey.
Yeah, that's the better part. Come on.
14. Is that right?
That's right. I haven't even seen it yet. Oh, there we go. Scroll down. There we go. Yes, 14.
Okay. And modified by luck?
That was including the modification of luck.
Gotcha. Okay. So why don't you show us how Ridian is exploring the spiritual culture of the Kith here in the Temple of Alareth?
Well, he's wandering through the temple district, and there's a kind of a bazaar of religious artifacts, some of them possibly real, some of them definitely fake. And he's kind of wandering through, looking at all the different items and looking for something that he feels is real, and powerful magic item that he can. And that's the lead in. Is that? Did you want me to go farther?
That's perfect. I mean, you can go further if you have more. I mean, I'm happy to take it. It's great. I love it. No.
I wasn't sure if you had like some ending action that was that you wanted to lead in for, but no, that's pretty much as far as I got.
Okay, cool. I like it. So you're down. You're exploring this sort of chapel in the storeroom of sorts, and looking for some powerful artifact that might aid you in your quest for world domination, like maybe a sword.
Of course.
Crown.
Rune sword, yeah.
Sword and crown. And this old crone hobbles out from like kind of like a little cell, more like an office, or maybe it's a cell. I mean, there's a desk in there, and she's leaning on a stick, and she eyes you, and she's with one eye, the other one's like just the empty socket. You can tell that she was lovely once in her day, and some might even consider her pretty, but she's withered and wizened. Oh, Ridian.
Does she have a mirror?
Does she have it? No, she doesn't have a mirror. Well, I mean, she could have a mirror in her cell, I guess. Oh, Ridian, you've come into this ancient place. What do you seek?
I seek world domination.
World domination, and she cackles with laughter. A truer man has never spoken truer words. And she cocks her eyes slightly as this make a will check, DC 10.
Okay, let's see here. Do I add in the +3?
Yes, you do for your will mod. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean for the day of the harvest.
It's not a spell check; it's a will check.
Oh.
Thank you.
She cocks her head at you as you start to answer her, and all this golden bronze smoke starts issuing forth from your mouth and nostrils and eyes.
Ew.
And she takes 2 steps back and says, "You're the vessel of the god of Retromax." And she collapses to her knees, and she waves.
Oops.
She has her hand on her forehead. She's not even looking at you, and she waves from her cell. She says, "Take these 2 acolytes to serve you in all of your needs. It's all I can the humble crone can offer you. And these two diminutive maids kind of trot out of the cell, and they collapse before you on, like almost in like a Muslim prayer posture, except for not both arms are stuck forward. One's forward and the other one's back, and their heads are turned to one side, like almost like they're taking a swimming stroke. Mm-hmm. So you now have two followers.
Oh, nice.
They're both 0 level characters of a chaotic alignment. You can roll them and name them.
Means they're slutty.
Equip them and treat them as you will as followers. And then after the first session, you may give up a session to level them to level 1 as appropriate, and then we'll just go. Okay, who's next?
World domination has to start small.
Well, I finished leveling up there.
And Nils, when you level them to level 1, there's a Kith subrace in the Purple Sorcerer, and you should refer to that for their racial traits. Okay, Ethan.
Garrett has now officially finished his level up process, and he has some fancy spells.
All right. How would you like to carouse here in the Temple of Ilarith?
What are my options again?
Not good.
General carousing, thieving about town, the dark arts, Bazaar of the Gods, and keeping a low profile.
And daily double for 500.
We'll go profile is not the best thing to do.
Garrett will try and keep a low profile as he's still trying to figure out his new level up.
Why don't you roll a d12 for me, modified by luck?
A 6.
Okay. Attempted robbery. You're set upon by footpads in a darkened alley.
Oh my goodness.
Show us what happens.
As I'm walking down the street.
Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Show us how you're set upon by these miscreants of the palace.
I was just walking down the street, and I was trying to find my way back to my sleeping quarters, and I think I took a wrong turn somewhere. This place it's a little big. Gets me turned around. And I found myself in a bit of an alley when I felt some people come up behind me.
Okay, make a luck check.
No.
Oh, you are badly beaten. In fact, these are the same 3 guards that set upon Horus. Not just 12 hours ago. And they say, you were with that mortal man. And they beat you senseless. You're robbed of all your mundane equipment, coin and equipment. They strip you naked and leave you in a heap in this alley. You're also reduced to 1 hit die.
Oh boy!
So you can go ahead and roll your hit die to see how many. Looks like 6 or 8 for you.
6, yeah.
So you're in a similar state as Horus found himself on the dawn of the 11th day of harvest.
This place is just not going well.
We cannot let you out.
Yeah.
All right, Horus.
Oh, there go. Oh, never mind. Okay. Whew, that was close.
What was that, Nils?
New party rule: no one hang out with Ethan's characters when we get to a city.
Yeah. Okay. So Horus is next, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Horus needs to find a sword and a shield. He's got some armor coming his way. He's got some clothes now.
So you're going to the bazaar?
You can certainly equip yourself with the sword and the shield. That is not a problem.
Cool.
You simply visit the armory and bat your lashes at your yesterday's girlfriend. You know, accept some casual caresses from this evening's girlfriend, and try to.
You are a terrible person.
Sort of duck and dodge when you see a few of those guards coming your way. You can't quite recognize them. I mean, you know, Kith in armor is a Kith in armor. They've all got long black hair and slanty eyes, pointy ears, pale skin, and
they look so good naked.
Darn right.
So yeah, if you want to equip yourself with whatever you like, that's fine. Just let me know what it is, so I can make sure any special adjustments or notations around that. So a sword and a shield?
Just a nice sword and shield.
No problem at all.
Because I got my armor coming later.
Right, and if you got some nice suede breeches and a very fetching blouse.
Oh, you bet.
And a black cloak. So be sure to write all of those down on your character sheet too.
Yeah.
So I can lose them later.
Well, you know, we got to keep track of these things. Which chart would you like to roll on? General, thieving, dark arts, spiritual, or keeping a low profile?
We're going to go with spiritual because at this point I'm running out of options.
Okay.
No.
Give me a D30 modified by your luck.
Good boy. Good boy.
21.
21.
If I get beset by robbers again, I'm going to cry.
21. Hardy har har. Well, at least you're not naked this time.
I might be about to be.
Oh, good point. You Sam?
You're are you lawful?
Yeah.
Down.
Oh boy.
So what you've come to find out about the Kith is that they're, especially these, the women here, are incredibly focused on the practice of their religion, and
spankings.
There's some of that.
Plenty of bloodletting.
Spiritedness.
A little bit of that, and you find yourself listening to a storyteller of sorts, and this storyteller is in fact kind of a prophet, and it's talking about the wars that have raged eternally between the courts of chaos and the kingdom of law. And yeah, you know that, and that makes a lot of sense to you, and you can see this balance and turmoil, this strength and struggle. But then she starts down this weird sidetrack about the ancient gods who were before chaos and before chaos and law, the one true shapers of the universe, as it were. You know, they shaped law and they shaped chaos, and while their presence has diminished, they're still present within our world, and so you're kind of all swept up in this storytelling and in this grace. So what happens to poor Horus?
That is the question.
Mm-hmm. I know. Perfect. So and in fact, you spend all of your day and much of your evening talking with this prophet about these gods, and she teaches you the ancient phrases and the strange gestures of the bent elbow and the twisted wrist on how to call on these gods in your time of need. So you now have an evoke patron that you can call upon, but do so at your peril.
Okay.
She warns you quite sternly. Who's next?
I got everybody.
Is that everyone? Excellent. All right, it's now the 12th day of the harvest. There's +3 to spell checks. You guys awaken in your various conditions. Gerda wanders up from the labyrinth well after midnight, and collapsing into a heap in her bed. There's no sign of Garrett. And Horace is on about some weird stuff. So what would you guys like to do with your next day?
Well, I need to pick up my armor, and then it's time to move forward, I think.
Okay.
Well, I agree. We have to go see the...
Yeah. I don't think we can survive another day in here.
Yeah, I think Garrett will stumble his way back to us and get some fancy clothes of his own and heal himself.
So we need to go seek an audience with Aelirth in order to thank her for her hospitality and seek information because we're new travelers to this area.
Indeed.
Okay.
Who respect the ancient ways, as
So
our
you-
armor suggests.
So you ask for a audience with Alarith, and it's quickly granted, though not until mid-morning.
Oh, we're very
Because-
patient.
Yeah, I mean she is a princess after all,
She's a princess and the host, so you know.
right?
And by the way, we are very careful to try to. About being of a high personality, I assume I would at least know some social graces and mores, so the Kith would at least think we're polite savages.
Right. Okay.
Just before we do that, are my two servants Kith?
They are.
Okay, I'm going to leave them in the room.
Are they hot?
Of course.
Or Kith.
What is their personality? Did you roll them up yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Why don't you work on that? I can 0 level them for you if you like and just chuck them at you.
Sure.
So at this point, has Horace gathered his fancy armor?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. He's looking mighty Kithified.
Yeah, sure. So that armor, it's plate mail.
Cool.
It is an AC mod of
8, I think.
Here it is.
And Horace, I think you should bring them with us. You don't have to say why they're
It's
with
an
us.
AC mod of 8. The fumble die is
Quite high.
16, but in fact, because it's mithril, it's only a D. It's a D8.
Ooh,
It's a D8.
wow.
And the movement penalty is normally neg 10, but in your instance, it's neg 5. Why don't you describe the armor for us, Ethan?
So this armor is it's actually like almost got this like light greenish tint to the silveriness of the armor.
Mm-hmm.
You can see like on the pauldrons and whatnot, there's actually some like nice jewels encrusted in it, because this was the armor worn by a Kith prince.
Oh yes.
Indeed.
It's incredibly ornate and immaculate, and definitely not something you find at your local smithy.
Okay.
Nor could your local smithy have done what these guys did.
Yeah. This was like high quality craftsmanship, even among Kith.
Okay. And tell me how you are regaled aside from the armor.
Well, I have a very, very nice cloak.
Oh, you fucking
Okay.
can't wear that.
And I believe your longsword and shield, is that how you're?
Longsword and shield.
All right.
Underneath my armor, I got my nice breeches and a very fancy blouse.
Festive blouse.
That armor, that shield will give you a check penalty.
Okay.
So your check penalty is -4 and -1 more for the shield. Did you want to take a helm?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get a helm to.
Okay, that's another mod to your AC, but it's also going to add to your check penalty.
Yeah.
Are you taking now? You can take a small shield if you like, and that won't give you a check penalty. Or you can, or you can take a medium shield, and that's +2 to your AC. Or you could take a tower shield, but that's +3, but it does have a larger check penalty.
All right. Give me 1 second while I figure out.
Okay, you can think about that. So you guys are granted an audience, and how will you proceed? Show me how you enter the hall and address Alara. I know that Rydian left his 2 handmaidens.
I was going to ask, why did you do that, Nels?
Because I don't think it's a good idea for us to be shown to be in command or owning Kith when we go in to see the princess.
Good call.
I had enough problems with
They might tip them off or something.
Yeah, they were pissed off enough that Horace stooped one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
3 of them are. It only appears to be the same 3, I'll have you know.
They're so pissed off they beat up both your characters.
Yeah, Garrett keeps saying they kept calling me Horace. They thought I was a knight.
Yeah.
Saying things like, I thought you learned. Humans are slow. All right.
So Horace has a medium shield.
Okay.
I just went and looked at his character.
Okay. All right. So you enter the hall with not much fanfare, standing, and it's a kind of atypical, regal, royal greeting hall. There's a throne up on a dais. It's carved of wood and ivory, and in part wrought with stone.
I got dropped for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Welcome back. You can see Alara, this stunning Kith even by Kith standards, taller by a head and a half than any of the other Kith that you've seen, and exotic and graceful. And she is brooding and nearly fuming, you could tell, on the throne. What will you do?
Approach politely, deferentially, give the correct bows and so on, and say, "Hail." Is it Lady Aerith? Is that what she is?
She is Aerith, the princess of the Kith.
So they refer to
Empress, and you've heard her referred to in some ways.
Okay, so whatever they instruct me to address her as, I will do so.
Yeah, you've heard both.
I'll go with Empress. That seems safe.
Safer.
Yeah. And I'm basically going to impart to her the story of how we followed the two thugs into the mountains and into the temple, and we cornered them right as they came to a portal, and we had to fight our way through. An underground labyrinth, in which our elven comrades were deeply affected. And we came out into this beautiful land, and we don't know where we are, and we don't know what's going on. And we want to first thank her for her great hospitality, and apologize if we harmed any of her hunters in any mistake,
or hurt any of the moths.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the moths. We're really sorry about the moths.
Okay, Peter, make a personality check for me, -2.
-2?
Sorry, DC. I'm sorry, personality check for me, DC 12 is what I meant to say. Pardon me.
Gotcha. Shit, 8.
That goes to an 11, right? With your personality mods, it looks like. Hang on, let me get back to the Roll20 window.
Oh, does my level go into this? Because my personality is a 16, so it's a +2.
Oh, I see. 6, 8. Yeah. So you're a little short to burn luck. She growls and
we don't have Hammy.
Snarls and gnashes her teeth, and she stands and she points her finger at Horace.
Oh boy.
Make a personality check. DC 18.
Oh!
Gib whispers, drop to your knees. Grovel.
Groveling.
Yeah, no.
How dare you arrive in my hall wearing my brother's own armor?
Oh, shit.
Wait, I'm going to...
Her shoulders go up and back. Remove it immediately.
We were given this armor
from behind the throne that you guys couldn't see. March like in this perfect wheeling formation. A dozen Kith knights, 6 on either side, and they butt their spears on the stone flagstones, and their shields come up, and their shields drop, and their spears drop down.
I will politely and quietly say, we were given this armor by the Crow King himself.
It matters not. My brother was the true king of the Kingspire, not that foul usurper, our half-brother, if that.
Then I will tell her, indeed, my lady, that is why I wear this armor. To
Silence!
honor his memory.
I will not have it any longer. Remove that armor, or I shall remove it for you.
I'd nudge Rydian forward to say something.
Yeah. Rydian, make a will check. DC 15. Is Nils still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
No.
13.
Do you want to burn any luck?
God, I miss him.
No, my luck is bad enough as it is.
You can feel your heart like clenching and almost stopping. This is your last opportunity.
For what?
Burn any luck?
You need to get close to him, to her.
All right, I'll burn 2 luck to...
You can feel Retromax. You can feel Retromax clawing his way up from whatever recess he's secured himself within your psyche.
Gib pushes.
You know that if you burned these 2 points of luck, you could hold him back. Though maybe it's time to unleash him.
Oh, don't burn the luck then, man.
Yeah, I'm burning the luck.
Okay.
Oh, you are? You wanna? Okay.
So Gibbs like nudging Rydian forward, and Rydian takes like 2 steps and freezes. And show us how you restrain Retromax.
Quietly, apparently.
Sits there and kind of stares with a little bit of a face.
I stopped chanting. I stopped muttering to myself.
Oh, he goes stone cold silent.
Oh, and nobody but the party notices, and we all get very nervous.
You hear some like clattering as the armor starts shaking on Horace.
Horace, what are you doing?
So down in the depths when we agreed with this, right? We agreed to all this, correct?
Agreed to serve as his vessel. Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. So
Retromax's goal is to kill Alarith. He has a stern grudge against her, and
that's who's before us, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Gibbs gonna take the butt. No, he's gonna punch him in the back and push him forward at the same time, trying to interrupt him from trying to keep him in.
Oh, okay. Like kidney punch him and give him a shove. Is that what's happening?
Exactly. It's going to be a kidney punch because he sees that that Ridian is trying to like hold in. It's like he's like, instead of like busting out a big fart, he's like trying to like hold it in, but he's like, oh no, we got to do this. And so he punches him in the kidney and knees him forward.
Okay. Horace, what are you doing?
Horace has dropped to his knees and has begun to slowly remove his helmet.
Nice. You're stalling him. I like it.
All right.
Exactly. Keep the heavy armor on as long as possible.
Nils, make another will check. Whatever I had you do it at last time. DC 15.
It's 15. Oops. What was that?
I'm thinking we're going to have to fight our way out because...
I'm afraid you're right. So I think we're going to have to word of command and sleep spell.
Well, you know, Garrett does have a few clerical spells at his disposal now.
We're going to need them.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
All right.
So you hold Retromax back, even though like he's clawing at your mind, right? All right. Let's see. How about an initiative check?
Yeah.
Let's see. Where are
So,
my dice? Oh, on the wrong
so we're
side.
going into a battle.
Yeah, we're going to need to take an initiative check to see who's going to act first and then what's going to happen. Because I have some ideas about how Alarith is going to react to what's happening in her throne room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good.
So at the same
It's not good.
so at the same time this is happening, Gib is wondering how far Ridian is feet-wise from the princess or whatever you want to call her.
Sure. Let me sketch out the room for you.
Sure.
Give me
Let's
just
do
a
it.
moment,
Yep.
and we'll bring up the battle map.
Garrett is getting ready to throw some serious glares at the lady here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's
Some
always
magical
fun.
glares.
Oh. I have a feeling that we're going to find out what our random spells are pretty quick.
Yeah. We're gonna find out what Garrett's fancy new spells are too.
All right. I'm going to bring you guys onto the battle map.
We're gonna try anyway. Let's see how this goes.
All right. Let's see. Let's sketch the hall. That looks about right.
Are these 5 foot or 10 foot squares?
These should be 5 foot squares.
Cool.
So it looks like this hall is 100 feet by 50 feet. I can't quite see because I've got it zoomed down a little ways. 100 by 50. Wow. How's that for a Mark 1 eyeball? Let's see. What is going on in there?
My dogs are chewing apart a cardboard box.
Die, box, die.
If it's too much noise, I can mute.
No.
We're awfully happy.
I was wondering what was happening. Let's see. How do we move it to the back? Is that a feature in Roll20, Nils? Yes, to the back.
Yeah, you right click on the token.
Yep, I got
And
it.
it should like.
I got it. Yep. And it's Alt to have it not snap to the grid, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. So here's the the throne.
Oh man, this is gonna hurt.
Oh no, what happened?
What?
I know what happened. Hold on. GM bumbling with the system.
No problem.
Perfect.
Is that a dais or a rug?
It's a dais.
Okay.
Alrighty. And then you can see the throne, I believe, on the top of the dais here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, I think this needs to be a little bit bigger. Because I need to fit 12 warriors.
No. 6 is fine. I don't want to put you out. That's a lot of painting. I don't want you to have to go to that much effort.
Oh, Shadow, come on.
Hi, Erica.
Hi. Oh, that's right. It's Thursday game night.
Thursday.
Hey.
I'll be right out, Erica. Just a second.
Careful.
Objects, what the heck? Oh, that's premium. That doesn't work. Guys, from your character sheets, you can drag your characters onto the map. You can put yourself where you like. Gib and Ridian should be close to one another. The rest of you can be as you like.
How do you
Also
drag
for a kidney punch.
I don't see. Oh, okay. You're putting them on right now.
You just drag them from your character. Just drag your character sheet onto the map, Gib, and it should create your character. Why I'm screwing around with this.
Hey, there you go. See, we have to keep playing because you have a picture of Gerda to convert.
That's true, I do.
So how close did we get to before we were accosted?
How close would you like to be?
Close enough that the demon inside Iridian can blast her in the face.
Yeah, that's basically why I was holding off, was to try to get closer. So
okay, you can be as close as you like.
So we drag our character sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, just basically on the.
I'll do it for you, Mike. There you go. There's a very tiny little. So cute.
And before we roll for
He's just far away.
Garrett's casting a spell.
Well, okay, I'm going to ask for that, and I'm going to ask for that in a moment. But let me finish with the set for the table, and then we can get started. I'm sorry for the delay. This was not exactly what I expected would happen, but it's awesome that it
sure
is.
Does. Actually, Erica just got home, so I'm going to quiet for a second.
All right, go ahead, Nils. This is a good time to do all of that stuff.
I'm hoping my cleric will get to throw something today.
I think you're going to have plenty of opportunities there.
Oops.
Time for the death stare.
Do. This will do.
So there are guards behind her. Were there guards all around us as well?
Oh yeah.
Well, you're in the Kith Palace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's
I just wasn't sure how many of them were here at this particular moment.
you can see 12. There was no one in the throne room with you before.
Oh, okay.
2, 4, 5.
I'm back.
Hey,
The 12
I'm
is
hoping
not.
we're not about to have another TPK.
mm,
On the
Great.
bright side,
That just means that you get a new master.
it's not. We have more tools at our disposal this time.
That's true.
We have a demon at our disposal this time.
Yeah, we have that too.
So just as a reminder, the agreement with this demigod is let him have a vessel to travel to and take revenge, and then he will
Well, if he kills her, we're freed. Everybody's freed.
right.
Okay.
The only way, what Retromax has told you about the Dragon Wall is that the only way to escape the Dragon Wall is to kill Elareth or the Bone Dragon, whose name I've forgotten.
Okay.
His name is Belgazar. And he still loves her, even though she broke his heart by sending people to kill him. He still loves her.
That's right.
Which is why we're taking his side and we're killing her.
Because love always wins.
It's like a fucking Johnny Cash song.
Ring of Fire, baby.
We love her so much, we're going to fucking kill the bitch.
Okay, we are set.
So whoever's
some big doors down here at the doors.
Okay, Iridian, I'm going to try and word of command the ones on the right. I say you try to sleep the ones on the left.
I'm going to try and basically stare down this lady here and freeze
So
her.
you guys are casting?
Oh, yes.
So whoever's sitting behind Ridian, I would be there.
That would not. Yeah, that's Horus. I'm going to replace Gib with Horus. Where do you want to be, Gib? Sorry, pardon me, Horus. Where do you want to be?
I will be. Well, Ridian stepped forward, so I'll be over here then.
Okay, perfect. You guys are close. You guys are within 25 feet of the princess.
Oh yeah, we are.
There are some big pillars, and that. Why don't we go ahead and roll for initiative? We are going to roll 2 groups of initiative. One for actually 3 groups of initiative. The guards on the left, the guards on the right, and the queen herself. I need my stupid notes. All right, the queen is 21.
Oh.
She's also casting.
Yeah, I thought so. Queen, for God's sakes.
And
we're gonna get our asses handed to us.
Let's see.
Come down to the rolls.
Oh, where are those stupid other Kith?
Aaron, before this gets started, I just want, for the record, we did not intend to fight these guys.
Well, right, but you did not follow the Lord and Regent's commands either. So that's.
Well, I get that. I'm just saying we did not come into this encounter and.
Oh, I know you didn't come in. I know you didn't come into this encounter planning to fight, though.
We always do.
And though you don't need to fight either. No blows have been no swords have been swung.
That is absolutely
no blood
true.
has been spilt.
That is absolutely true.
My idea to cast a spell is one that won't spill any blood.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see here.
So,
unfortunately, we're not going to win initiative, so she's going to sling her spell, and
we're all frogs.
Right, but
I'm thinking it's going to be targeted at Horus. Just going to throw it out there because I seem to have personally pissed her off.
Well, you are wearing Kith armor and a Kith cloak,
and it's apparently her brother. So,
and one of her guards.
Here it is. All right. The group on the left. Sorry, it took me a little while to find my reference. They are a 10. The group on the right is also a 10. All right, players, what have you got?
Does anybody have any initiative mods to potentially win initiative?
Yeah, I'll let you choose who will roll, and then we'll roll off.
What is that?
Agility.
I have
Looking
a +2.
An agility mod, though I think a warrior also gets a bump to his initiative check as well.
Yeah, I
Warrior
do not.
doesn't get anything.
I do not have any.
I have a
+2
to my personnel.
theoretically, if we rolled a 20, allow us to beat her, but that's a big if.
Well, whoever has the highest agility should just roll.
Go for it.
What did I
well.
get?
What did you get?
I can't see it. It's underneath turn order.
Oh, it's a 9. Pardon me.
It's an 11. Not even.
Okay. So ahead of the guards, but after the queen. So I will remind you too about the spell duel mechanic.
Yes.
And that can happen at any time. And also because you guys have been preparing spells, you can do that as well. So let's see, the queen.
Does one of you want to spell duel?
She grabs from beside her throne a long and wicked spear that has 2 blades that are kind of aligned side by side. Actually, not side by side, on either end of the spear, right? Like a double-ended fighting spear.
Right.
And
like Darth Maul lightsaber.
Yes, very Darth Maulian. Where are her spears? Here they are. Spells. Need my highlighter.
Yeah, theoretically, my spell could freeze her in place. But I think spell duel has to be like kind of a counter.
Right. What if somebody wants to spell duel, and a cleric can do it too, right?
Yes, anyone with a spell check can do that. But she is also +3 to her spell check.
Right, she's +3.
Well, I get that. I'm just because spell duel can stop a spell without causing an attack as well.
Well, I mean, Garrett is down to throw it at her because he was already planning on hitting her with a spell anyway.
Okay, I'm just going to try to word command, and I was going to say just stop. Just like I said, I'm going to try to not shed.
I was going to Lotus Stare her to just freeze her in place.
Very good.
All right, so she's casting a spell. You have no idea what it is. Will any of the casters that are preparing spells attempt to spell duel?
Garrett will.
Peter?
Well, can more than one?
Yes.
Well, I'll back up Garrett.
Battle of the Clerics.
Hit clerics versus magician.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Divine versus the magical.
Let's see, I guess I need text here. Ridian or Gib, were you guys casting spells?
I have other plans.
And I'm just trying to keep her distracted. That's my thing.
Horace's plan is just to buy time.
Gib, are you casting any spells?
Yes.
Okay. Or do you want to participate in the spell duel?
No.
All right, just the clerics.
That's cool. We run the distraction.
But of course, I do not have to cast a spell if I choose not to. Correct.
Correct. But you won't receive a. That's like kind of like your combat action is the.
Then I will not cast a spell.
Okay. All right. I'm just making a note on the screen so we can all keep track.
Spell duel.
Yeah, you're going to have to run this, Aaron, because I did it once, and that was in Sullins' holiday game.
I did it on Saturday, but I wasn't paying tons of attention because I started off with me rolling a 21 versus a 3. So.
Oh, so you won right away.
Well, it was like an 8-round spell duel, but yeah.
Right.
Gary was very intimidating.
All right, I have your father's handy dandy quick reference sheet. It's on my Google Drive if anybody wants it. And so Alarith is casting Charm Person. And you are all casting, what are your response spells?
Lotus Stare.
Okay, and Peter? Word of Command. Start the momentum tracking die. Everybody starts at a 10. All right, and each caster makes their standard spell check. Action die plus level plus intelligent mods, and then clerics is action die plus level plus personality mods. You also get the spell check bonus, and if the attacker's spell succeeds and the defender's counter failed, then the spell goes off. Okay. And the attacker gains a +1 to their momentum. If the defender's spell succeeds but the attacker's fails, the spell does not go off, and the defending caster gains +1 to the momentum. If both fail, neither goes off.
And we're the defending casters, right?
You guys are defenders because you lost the initiative, right? And she's starting this, and you guys are rushing to interrupt the.
Yep. That's what I figured.
And if the spell check is a tie, then there's a philostagic disturbance.
Oh, I remember this.
And then, then you determine the spell effect result, and then roll the counter spell effect result and resume regular initiative order. So you guys are sort of taken out of time and space. You're directly focused on one another as casters. You can't really be interrupted or affected in any way, though I suppose other enemies could attack you and try to break your concentration. So we'll just deal with that if it happens.
Like Horus could drop a sword straight through her chest.
Right.
I always see it as like that final battle in Big Trouble in Little China, and all that shit's going on. But Lopan and Egg Chen, their fight is completely independent and not affecting them. And in fact, what they're doing isn't affecting the people around them either.
Right, and I think that's kind of the way I want to deal with it. Only because in this round of initiative, right? If there are attacks thrown at the spellcasters or whatever, they just step aside or they move out of the way or they float higher or whatever, because there's all this magical energy going on.
Yep.
And that's simply for this round of initiative. You can certainly position yourself to attack them, in hopes to win the next round if you follow.
Yes. Horus has other things to deal with.
Right. Okay. So let's see, a spell check. Could somebody, I guess I'll look it up myself. Let's see. You got, what level are you guys now? 4?
4.
Aside from Garrett's 3, but yeah.
Oh, let's see. That will tell me. Fine. And okay. And I'm just noting down my mods for the spellcaster. All right. I will roll my spell check. I am +5.
So you need to roll.
I'm actually +10 to my spell check.
Why don't you roll 1? That'd be very nice of you.
So yes, what are the normal spellcasters at, by the way?
Fuck me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
The normal spellcasters, they're close to that as well, right? Because it's level plus intelligence plus the +3 check.
I'm +6.
Okay,
I think
so
Gerda's +9.
Right. I'm at +9 with the day.
Okay.
I'm +6.
Right. So what's our day giving us?
+3.
+3. Okay. Interesting.
Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Crap.
Oh, good Lord.
Ouch.
We got wrecked. That charm person.
So let's just note down the results, and let's see. It was a 19 plus 10 is 29.
Okay, that's a point of disapproval for Garrett.
And it's the natural die roll that you check for disfavor, but I don't think either of you are going to fall into disfavor. What did you score in terms of your spell checks?
I rolled a 12 total.
12, okay.
I rolled an 11 total.
Well, 12 would have gone off. That would have healed somebody. So it's not a fail. It's just a lower success than
right. Correct.
I actually failed.
And what did you roll, Horace?
I rolled an 11 total.
An 11. Right.
Yeah, so I failed. So I have a point of disapproval.
Let's see.
No, stop.
Update the momentum. So she wins.
Oh, yeah, she does.
But you guys don't go down, right? So that's just like a net mod for the momentum in future spell duels.
I'm pretty sure I don't go
the
down,
attacker and the defender's spell check. The
I
momentum
believe
difference uses the distance between the two tracking die scores. 17 or 12. Difference is 5. The momentum difference is 5. Right. Let's see. 29 to 11. Oh, that's a fail. So you have your spell fails and has no opportunity to affect this in any way. Though
Mine
Peter's
does.
does. That's a D16. The attacker is higher. I roll a D16. I roll a 12. Reflect and overwhelm. The attacker's spell takes effect at the normal spell check result, and the defender's spell is reflected back at a normal spell check. So your charm, sorry, not your charm.
My word of command.
Your word of command is reflected back on you. So what was your word? What was the word going to be? Surrender or
no, stop?
Stop. Okay, so that's reflected back on you as a normal spell check at a DC 12. I think it's a will check for you to see if you can shake off those words as they come rebounding back at you.
Oh, have my words used against me.
Oh. Okay.
I never listen to myself anyway.
I never listen to myself. That's all lies. Lies, I tell you. Okay, and then her spell goes off, which is a charm person. She's casting that at Horus.
Of course.
Hey. Calm down, you two. You're making me nuts. No. Go lay down.
Anybody know what level that is, charm person?
Charm person is a level 3 spell, I think.
Oh,
No, charm person is level 1.
thank goodness.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Charm person, page 131.
I wish it were level 3. Higher chance of failure.
131. And it went off with a 29.
Yeah, I think that... I think there's a good chance that I'm permanently lost to you.
5.
Until we kill her.
Yeah, this black beams come shooting out from the ooh, what is the... I guess we're not going to worry about the Mercurial effect. This black beam shoots out from the spear, and caster can target a number of creatures equal to 2d6 plus the caster level.
Wow.
And it washes over all of you.
This actually might be a good thing, guys.
No.
D6.
It might be.
9. Yeah, all 9 of you. And
Shit.
each must make a will save or fall under the caster's complete control.
Isn't this
I'll
against
let
the
you
29?
pass on a 20.
No. Failed on a 1.
Close-ish.
Oh, wrong one.
Still beats my roll.
Let's see. Each target must make a will save or fall under the caster's complete control as if they were a friend. However, the target will not perform any actions that are suicidal or which a devoted friend would not otherwise perform. The target is to operate at full normal functionality while charmed. Target receives another save to break the charm according to their original intelligence as follows. So
3 weeks from now.
Basic intelligence, 7 to 9, 3 weeks. And it goes up from there. 18s is on the next day.
So technically speaking, Ridian just lost control of himself.
He was charmed by Alareth. Let's see what happens with Retromax.
Yeah, I was imagine that.
I'm thinking that might break the charm.
I need to check his stats. Did anyone ever get close to a 20 with their will save mods and all that?
I got
no.
Horace got 16 plus his mods, which brings him to 17.
Not enough.
Okay.
Reading got 15.
Oh, I didn't roll for Garrett. Garrett is... Garrett is an 18.
Not enough.
Okay.
Well, how'd Ridian do?
15.
And that was with your mods?
Yep.
Even the additions that I gave you?
What? Oh, right. Yeah, that's why I got such a big.
What did you roll?
I rolled 10. I got plus 5.
You're actually +8 to your will saves, in addition to any bonuses from your personality.
Why +8?
Because
Retromax.
Okay. Hold on, let me check here then.
We don't like to talk about it. We call him our friend.
Sam.
Yeah, so actually, I think that would make it. But that's intelligence. I'm sorry, hold on. Personality. Here we go. Bonus base 2. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a base of +3. So 10 plus 3 plus 8 is
21.
21.
You make it.
Okay. So both Retromax and Ridian don't fall under the sway, but the four of you.
We think she's swell.
Show me how you express your friendship towards Alareth in your initiative. Ridian, you can take your action after these guys do their expression of devoted friendship to the princess beneath the empress beneath the dragon wall.
Well, the first thing I do is sheathe my sword, put my shield on my back, and take my helmet off and start like worshiping her and like going all with my hands down and everything.
Four of the guards rush you and they yank you off your feet and slam you onto your back and start tearing the armor from your body.
Well, fuck. Maybe I shouldn't have just gotten that miniature.
There's always plate mail to be had. And there's always ways around said such issues. But what about the rest of you?
More than 3 minutes.
What about
I was just about to counsel my good friend to remove the armor because I think she's got a fair argument, and I'm just not going to get involved because clearly they're going to. You know,
Garrett raises her hand, points her finger, and says, "Oh, shit."
I'll have to heal him, but
they're not actually causing you any physical harm. They're just stripping you of these.
I'm saying we got to respect their family customs. I'm really sorry we've offended. We didn't mean to. We were, just trying to be friendly.
And Garrett.
Well, Garrett tucks away his weapons and is just, looking around, staring at Horace, kind of giving him the roll in his hand like, come on, hurry up, take the armor off already.
Okay. Gib?
Gib's kind of confused.
It's like
Is this a flashback?
it's like you know her from somewhere, but you can't really put your finger on it. You know you've had a really good time. You're pretty sure. Is that her? And you're just scratching your head.
Yep.
Puzzled. Okay, Radian, what will you do?
What will you do? So let me look at the map, see where I am. Okay. I will basically step up to the. I've got two things I want to do, and I'm guessing the first is going to preclude the second. But I'm going to step up to the base of the dais and then release Retromax. Stop fighting them.
Okay.
So if that is that basically
is that the two things you wanted to do, or
well, that's if I can do something after that. If releasing Retromax is not going to incapacitate me,
or take all your actions.
Okay. Well, first, why don't you show us how you release Retromax from the prison of your body?
Throws up.
Prison of your soul.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
and remember that through this narration, the other players can contribute, act, role play along with the scene, but you're really the director of this this moment,
this debacle.
I see us all frozen there for a moment, and his hair is flying all directions in a wind that none of us can feel.
Well, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. So I step forward, my arms kind of down at my side, and they start raising up, and I start muttering again. But as my arms raise up, my muttering gets louder and louder until it's shouting, and the wind, this wind that doesn't exist, is whipping around me. And then finally, I open my mouth and take over, Aaron.
Retromax.
Right. So when you open your mouth, the wisps of gold and bronze smoke they like swirl like a corkscrew, and they blast Alarith dead in the chest. Did that scare her? She gets thrown back into the throne and is like just twitching and quivering. She grabs for her spear and starts like lashing about around her. What's the second thing you wanted to do, Nils?
I'm going to pull out that lightning ball globe that I had and throw it at the group of the guards on the right.
At these ones.
On our right.
We're taking all of them with us.
Where did that come? Oh, that came from the Kingspire, right?
Yeah, right.
You should have made better notes, like in your character sheets in the GM section. Hang on, let me just.
Man.
Let me just sort of grab that reference and.
Nils, you play a Chaos Sorcerer rather well.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it's typecasting.
Let's see.
If you can find any way of, getting Horus to get his armor back at the end of this thing, he will be forever in your debt.
We'll try. We'll grab it on our way out.
Once we're done here, my first order of business is with Gib.
Curse of Kingspire. Hang on, I'm just looking up that item.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Can't make it easy for the GM.
No, that's all right.
I might have to separate my dogs from each other. They're going crazy.
Doesn't sound like it. What are they doing?
No, they're crashing all over the place, but they're basically moving my padded furniture all over. Oh, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Here it is.
An ongoing game of what I call snap snap.
Okay. So you have this globe, Nils, of that you've been carefully carrying with you through your adventure into Kingspire. Where exactly are you going to throw it?
I'm going to throw it at...
You want to put a mark on the map? Or?
Yeah. Sorry. About there.
About there?
Yep.
So what does it say here?
All enemies in a 5 or in 10-foot radius die.
Humans and elves immune.
But not Kith. Super effective.
But Kith are part are probably
Especially effective on Kith.
Kith, it's super effective. Times 2.
I just want to say props to Nils for remembering this thing.
Indeed.
It just kind of popped in my mind. Didn't we get that from the female sorceress in?
Yep.
You did, and you got that in her tower. Here they are.
And we thought about dropping it into the worm's mouth, but thank God I rolled high with paralysis and Hammy.
Right.
Luck like hell to boost the spell.
All right.
That was a truly cinematic moment, I want to point out.
Mm-hmm.
Ref DC 13. Okay. So this globe crashes to the feet of these guards, and they jump back. They recognize it for what it is when you drew it out from your cloak, and there's this look of indecision and fear that sort of crosses over their eyes.
Yeah, bitches.
And
they just want to add to the mood,
to the
ambiance.
And this lightning starts crackling around all of them here, and these little, those little bugs are all about them, zapping, and these bolts of bursts of lightning. And then as these bugs are zapping, they're like zapping, and then they turn into this puff of ash and then collapse and drift away in whatever faint breeze that still exists from the spell duel between Alarith and the kings and the clerics. So they need to make a ref save, DC 13. Their ref is their reflex mod is +2, so they need 11s.
Not even fun.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. /roll.
4.
Roll 4. 30-20.
4 lightning people or 4 guards?
The 4 guards. To see if they can sort of evade.
So it's not hitting all of them. All right, good enough.
Right. Let's see. 2 of them clearly fail, and 2 of them succeed and take only half damage. So the 2 that take half damage, they have 2 hit dice. Why don't you go ahead and roll a d12 against each of them?
Okay. I'll just roll. Do you want me? Is it a d12 damage, or do you want me to roll a d6 because it's half?
It should be 2d12.
Oh,
so
wow.
You can roll 2d12, you can roll 2d12 and have it if you like.
So 4 for 1.
Hey, enough.
And 5 for the other. So kind of average.
That zaps one of them, right? The lightning like crashes all around his armor, and he twitches and falls back over his feet. The other one, most of it like dissipates on his shield, and he takes a blast to his cheek that leaves a nasty smoking scar, and he glares at you venomously.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 2 take full damage. Go ahead and roll 2d12 against them. There we go. He explodes. and so does those were the 2 that were standing closest, clearly. All right, maybe this is the one that took half damage, and he takes sort of half a step back as a reminder that he's been slightly damaged. Now, show us how Retromax attacks Alarith on the dais. as he comes swirling out of your body. What and how does he take his vengeance on this empress beneath the dragon wall?
What was his form when we saw him? Was it just like a human face?
He was like a carved stone, an attractive human, carved in a huge, right, like 40 feet tall human face carved, like as Peter just drew on the map. I love it.
As the gas is flowing from my mouth, the gas keeps getting bigger and bigger and forming a cloud until he's a humanoid that is big enough to match the size of the face that was in the cave.
Oh, huge.
20 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
like he's like crouched over and hunched over in the throne room over the throne itself.
Freaking avatar of Retromax.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then he just raises his foot and crushes it down on top of her.
Okay.
Saying, "Puny Kith." Feel of Retromax.
I love it. Well done. Let me just catch the notes here. Sorry, I should have skimmed these ahead of time.
No problem. Well done, Nils.
So the rest of the guards have this panicked reaction, in part because of Retromax appearing and in his true form, or one of his many true forms, and the guys that were zapped by the lightning globe are just, they're running in circles basically around the remnants of the bugs as they sort of burn themselves out. But the 6 that are on the left, they sort of turn and hightail it back behind the throne. You don't see where they go once they kind of get behind the dais there.
I'm helping Horace put his armor back on.
Yeah, has this broken the charm person?
Yes, because Alarith has died beneath the boot of Retromax.
So yeah, Horace is getting that armor back on.
Gosh, it's a shame he had to kill our friend like that.
Horace has no problems with this.
I feel differently tomorrow with my intelligence of 12, but at the moment, it's a shame she had to die.
Oh, let's see. As soon as okay, tell me what you guys are doing as the guards are like fleeing, or show me how you react to the guards fleeing and the appearance of Retromax. And you have moments to react. I'll give you one action each to make a decision. And you can talk amongst yourselves about how you want to play this before I set the next scene. And I'm just skimming my notes about how to do that.
So technically, are we uncharmed?
You are no longer charmed, right?
Okay.
It's sort of a tear rolls down Gibbs' eye, like at the sad remembrance of a fallen friend, but no more than that.
So but literally in this exact part of the turn, are we like coming out of the charm?
Yeah, and that's sort of why you get one action, because it's kind of like this stunned reaction to this demigod stomping this Kith princess into dust
that we are just literally just in love with.
And
at
least felt as if you're dear friends.
Well, what I can say is I think at this point she's dead. We need to book it for that dragon glass. But first things first.
Was that part of the out of the game? Was that part of the thing that we were supposed to
Well, we have no idea. It's not enough happened yet to know what's going to happen once she's dead.
Right. We've just been told that upon either the dragon's death or her death that we should be able to get out of here, right?
Okay, so we don't need to book anything then, right?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen. My thought was to move around to see where those guys go in case we have to make a run for it.
Right.
I mean, Horace's first priority is getting his armor back on, and Garrett's helping him with that.
Very good.
So, okay. So the action that okay. So I'll can I say my action?
Mm-hmm.
Gibbs gonna try to go grab the spear if it's within reach, without getting stepped on.
Okay, so you dash up to the dais amongst all this bronze, gold swirling smoke and clutch at this spear that's sort of fallen at the base of the throne.
And dive away.
And pull her dead hand off of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to step forward and make sure Iridian is right and pull him back away from this massive melee of the immortals.
Okay. So you step forward and drag Iridian back by, he's sort of dragging on his heels, just in stunned awe of what's happening. That's Gib and Gerda.
Hey. We just determined we'd had enough.
Horace is putting his armor back on, and Garrett's helping him to make it go
fast.
So you've been stripped of at least half of it. You wouldn't be able to necessarily don it. You could try to gather the scattered pieces.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll gather them.
And let's see, who else? Oh, Garrett's helping.
Yes, Garrett's helping to speed up the process.
Okay, yes, the two of you can try to gather up the greaves and the pauldrons and the.
I mean, I assume the chest piece is still on because that'd be hard to remove quickly.
Right, that's the bit that they didn't get to.
Right.
And the groin.
And he'll put on the greaves really quickly because that's easy, but all the bulky stuff
there's no time for that unless you want to just not grab any of the rest of it. Right?
Oh no, I'm grabbing all of it.
You have one action.
You're good at carrying.
I am grabbing all of it.
All right, we'll see how that works out. Who else? Anyone? Iridian?
So he's going to. After causing such chaos, will I have my one action, or am I still?
Yes. You have an act. This is kind of your action in response to seeing Retromax destroy Alarith.
Right.
Besides giggling.
Right. So I will stand up after. Gerda kind of pulled me out, stand up, brush myself off, straighten my robes, and
punch Gib in the back. Two for flinching.
I'll just actually move away from the melee and move to the back, start moving towards the back of the hall.
Oh, okay. So at the conclusion of the stomping and the fleeing and the gathering and the
ouch, that hurts.
And the whatever, I forgot what you guys were doing. Oh, the clutching for the spear. There's this ear-splitting peal kind of rips across the sky, and Retromax's head goes up from where he was looking, and he coalesces back down into a golden smoky form and stretches out his arms. Iridian, to me! We must flee this place. And at that, you hear this great commotion back behind the throne room, off in some hallways or passages, and a great alarm being raised and a commotion. The queen, the empress, she is slain by mortal men.
That's what the guards are saying.
That's kind of the sort of stuff that you can make out.
Okay. So
I think we should head towards Retromax.
yeah, so I'll grab Gerda, since she was just right there, and pull her towards Retromax with me. And
so Ridian's way back here.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right, because I backed up. All right, so I will run forward.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna.
Since he's so big, where is?
He's at the foot of the dais,
Okay.
there. But he's not. He can't move himself.
Right. Okay. So I'll run forward. As I'm running forward, I punch Gib in the kidneys, and then grab Gerda and.
Marines, we are leaving.
Yeah, pretty much. And head towards Retromax.
Okay. So you get to be within about 10. And why did you grab Gerda?
Just to I got the idea that we want to try to get everyone needs to get towards him so that we can get out of here. So just trying to help Gerda along.
Oh, I see.
Helping everyone along.
I see.
Yeah.
So the same effect happens as in the pit. You know, he swirls into this mass and like blasts into your heart, and you hear this booming voice in your mind. We have only a short opportunity. If Valgagar escapes before we do, we shall fall and all be trapped beneath the dragon wall.
What do you say? If Valgazar escapes before? So okay, so
Who's Valgagar?
The dragon.
Bone dragon.
We do not want to fight him.
Right. So what do we do?
Run.
So run for the glass.
Okay. All right. Why don't you?
What glass?
Why don't you show
Dragon
me?
glass.
Why don't we take? No, why don't you show me? We're coming up on time. Why don't you show me collectively how you affect your escape from the Palace of Alarith?
I missed what he said we had to do besides get out before.
We need to get through the dragon glass that we came through.
That's all he said was we have to escape before the dragon, or we'll be trapped here forever. But he didn't necessarily say how.
That's true.
Well,
I'm assuming dragon glass
because he was dead. We'd have an answer to that.
All right, so
So Retromax, from the imagery that Retromax is showing with you is that the portal is open now that now that one of the cursed lovers has been slain. But once one of them leaves, then it will
close again,
seal and be shut forever from this side at least.
All right, I have the map.
So
I got a map.
So we're gonna flee out. This is my suggestion: flee back out the way we came out of the palace room.
Mm-hmm.
Gib knows where the moths are. Run to the moth area, jump on the moths, and fly like hell out of the towards the entrance into this zone.
Yep.
So that's a good example of tell, right? This is I'm going to tell you how we escape.
Got
right?
it.
So what I was asking for was more about show me how you escape, and you can do that collectively. You don't need. It doesn't need to just be one of you.
I thought we were kind of figuring out what's.
No. I think that's good, but I'm trying to illustrate the difference, right? Between
yeah.
I mean, I think we should definitely run out the palace gates. Horus is just like.
Well, the idea just to be clear, the idea from Ridian was to use the moths to make your escape.
Oh no, I agree, but I'm just saying go through the throne room doors.
Flee from the throne room, absolutely.
Yeah, that doesn't. And I was just gonna say that if we go to the moths, Horus is looking around. If he sees the Kith chick or the Kith guard, he'll just motion for her to follow him, but he'll do nothing. But it won't stop anything. But just
oh no, there's chaos everywhere. There's Kith running everywhere.
Right. So once
Horus's Kith helmet back on his head, we're getting the fuck out of here, and he's in front to look like a Kith, so no one's going to even notice us in this mess. We're moving fast.
Oh, that's good.
Very, very fast through here. Yeah. Come on, we are out of here, Retromax. And as we go, he might stumble upon her. If he does, he grabs her around the waist and says, "If you want to live, follow me." And we are not stopping for anything. We're getting on the moths and we're moving fast. We have a plan. We have a plan. We know what we need to do. We are the curse breakers. Let's get out of here, people.
And the when you step out into when you leave the interior of the palace itself and you step out into the open courtyard, your eyes are almost blinded by the piercing blue sky and the yellow sun's shining clearly above.
Oh no.
That's new.
Huh.
There are kith that are running in panic disarray. Some of them are staring just blankly at the sun, becoming blinded as they stare unblinking into that great yellow orb that they've not seen for decades, if not centuries. And you make your way quickly to the moth stable, and there are moths stabled and tendered there. There are moths fluttering about. Show me how you escape from the palace and make your way back to the Dragon Wall.
Gibbs going to attempt to take a real quick look to try to find his.
Okay. What is that?
Before we do that, yes. Can I make a luck check to see if we happen to be passing our apartment so I can grab my servants?
You can certainly make your way past the apartments as you leave, and they come crying out, "Master, master, what's happened? We fear for our lives. We've not seen the sun nor the blue sky. Save us, master, save us."
Come with me and all will be safe.
And they come hurrying along with you, just hiking up their skirts with nothing else about them. Just the skirts, mind you. They are.
Can Horace make a check to see if he finds his lady guard friend?
You don't need to make a luck check. She's there in the courtyard, and she sees you running from the palace, and her mouth falls open, and she says, "What did you do? How has this come to be?"
If you want to live, come with me. That's the words. You have to say them.
From one of the guards room, you see more guards marshaling. And you see the general standing at their front. There, the mortals and the men, and that woman too. Cut them down. And soldiers come pounding towards you.
I yell at my lover, "Come with me if you want to live."
Her mouth is just working again.
Thank you. Thank you. It makes me happy. Now, I want to show you something that's not being seen by any of us because he's not playing in this scenario, but our little hobbit is getting away too. But somewhere in all the confusion, 3 thuggy guards somehow had their throats slit on his way out because they beat the shit out of his friends, and that ain't happening.
Okay.
Hammy's a badass.
Some revenge is taken.
That's why he's not here. That's why he's not here.
He was on Black Ops.
That's right.
So I take it Horace doesn't get to save the lady. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's not what you're hearing. She's just undecided about what to do.
Okay,
by the waist and pull her along.
Yeah, if I can get close enough to her without getting without getting in the way of the guards, I'm gonna grab her on the waist, pick her up, and start running.
Okay. Make a mighty deed check, please. Strength, DC 12.
Am I going to roll to see if I got the spear?
You got the spear.
Oh.
Yeah. So you come heroically dashing towards her and try to sweep her up, and like,
and it was even slow motion,
like one arm, and just start running and carrying, and you get about 2 steps because the deed did go off.
Mm-hmm.
But then you trip and stumble, and you're like all of the arms and legs in akimbo. So show me now how you will affect your escape from the guards that are show me how you will manage the guards or deal with the guards that are now rapidly approaching.
Gerda's going to tell them to flee.
Okay, so she begins casting her word of command.
Yes.
Yeah, Horace is going to cast his, or not Horus, sorry. What's his Garrett is gonna cast, and he's gonna cast Food of the Gods and try and create like a banquet banquet blocking in the way.
That's an interesting way to do it.
All right, you guys.
Maybe the other one should cast eat instead of flee.
I'm afraid I didn't roll up eat. I got thwarted command.
See, you could
I have Food of the Gods too.
You could team up. You could team up to do that spell thing.
Are you telling me to add more to his food?
And then they'd not only lose time eating, then they'd have to be slow from gorging themselves.
I doubt it.
Okay, guys, go ahead and make your spell checks.
That's a 14.
Pretty good.
24, baby.
Nice.
So mana bread starts raining down from the heavens and sort of pelting them, and falling in their path. A few are tripping and some are stumbling.
I can affect a single target.
Who will you choose to affect?
The commander.
The general.
Is that the one Hammy's trying to kill?
That's the one that's Hammy, who Hammy made an enemy of through no fault of his own.
Right. However,
he has a will +3.
However, if we all get out of here alive and she's still alive at the adventure, she's not alive. Hammy's taking her down. Backstabbing halfling.
She General Miriam scoffs at your holy rites, and she's trying to press her way forward, through this sumptuous banquet of bread that's falling from the sky at the behest of Coronus. All right, guys, show me how you escape the temple and make your way back to the Dragon Wall. I know that we're planning for a moth escape.
Yes, we're running to the moth stables.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're taking all the moths with us, by the way.
All the moths, all right.
Well, we're
at least untethering them and shooing them to go.
Exactly. So we can't be chased.
Okay. So you arrive at the stables and you quickly find a few harnessed creatures. Did you have something you wanted to add here about the stable, Mike?
Just that once the plan was told, Gib was trying to yell out how to control him as best he could in in words.
You pull up instead of pulling down. You pull up to go down, and you pull down to go
up. So should I roll to see if I find my moth?
You can make a luck check to see if you see him. Sure.
Am I okay? Let's come on. There we go.
Oh, there he is.
There it is.
He sees you, and his black eyes blink lidlessly.
Okay. So
he's mewling at you a little bit.
Okay, so that's perfect. So I jump up on him and I say, and if you follow close enough to me, they'll follow me along with easier. So if they kind of everybody tries to take off near me, they'll follow in in a type of area.
Oh, right. Like you're kind of leading the herd.
Right, exactly.
Leading the flock. Okay. So the remainder of the party sort of scrambles up onto these odd moths, and I think you had shown a few people how to ride them, or taken a couple of people for joy rides earlier.
And then on top of that, I will actually fly up to those who are taking off and say get ready, and then to lead off the moths.
Okay.
So it gives them a better chance if there's a role for this.
Okay. Yeah. No need for a roll. I mean, that's a great idea and a great plan. And it works almost seamlessly. And you go winging your way towards the wall. But as you're sort of, you can see also off in the distance a white shape in the air, and it's flying fast
Fucking
towards
bone
the
dragon.
wall. And then we'll close the scene there.
So while we're doing, where's whatever Max or Aeromax or whatever his name
Retromax
is?
Retromax is within.
It's back
body.
in Ridian. Okay, got it.
Gosh, let's see. How long did that take? It's probably 10 a.m. now. 10 a.m.
Well, you said that we didn't see her until midday.
Yeah, like mid-morning.
Right.
Oh, okay.
8 a.m. She had to have her breakfast and stuff, and
okay.
Figured that all that whole mess probably took about 2 hours.
Read the paper.
Was my lady friend with me?
You rolled a 1.
Yeah, but my name went off, so we got tangled.
Well, do you want her with you?
That's true.
Yeah.
Question. Okay. Now she's sobbing unconsolably. You know, sort of writing in front of you on the moth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything that she's known about her existence is now crumbling behind her. You can see smoke and fire being lit up amongst the palace, and a great procession, more like a mob, comes dashing out from the palace walls, all heading west. All heading west towards the dragon wall.
Horace will put his arms around her, and then
make a personality check.
Oh boy.
DC 12.
No Mile High Club.
This is what happens when you go to a college that's 75% men.
She like pushes hard against you. You need to roll a 12 or higher. You didn't get that with your bonuses. And starts beating on your chest, and you know, she goes to slap your face, but and loses her balance off the moth and plummets to her death.
Yay! No girl.
Oh well.
Stay away from them little britches. They ain't nothing but trouble.
You love them and you lose them.
Okay, and sort of a weird insect reflection of the writers who wrote Hiram and Lord of the Rings. Gerda's got Hammy riding in front of her.
Right.
Just because it's a great visual.
Okay, I love it. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the session. That was fun tonight for me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Mike finding his same moth again was wonderful.
Any
lucky ducky?
Any pros or cons for you guys? Maybe let's start with Mike since he's
the kidney punch that he got in return.
The return kidney punch
didn't hurt that much.
Yeah, my strength is a 5 now, so I it's more like for effect than anything.
It's more of an insult type of thing. Yeah.
And so that any cons for you, Mike? Or was that both a pro and a con?
Yeah, that was both pro and con. Yeah.
Peter?
Gosh, great amount of role playing, but biggest pro is just Nils launching that demon thing at her at that moment as we all froze. It was just pure cinema right there. I tell you, this whole campaign is the story of Nils's crazy chaos wizard.
Every party needs one.
That's it. I'm loving it. So, my only con is I felt like I was rolling like shit. But you know, that happens and it's not a bad thing really, but tells the story differently.
Yeah. Right. Nils.
Yeah, being able to coming up with the idea of using the lightning globe as part of the attack, I think was pretty good. And I just realized at the end of this whole campaign, we're going to pull back, and Ridian is going to have like one arm and half an ear and have burn marks all over him. And he's like 100 years old telling little kids this story of when he was
to his apprentices and his acolytes that have gathered at his
right. So the reason why he was the only one to survive the TPK and why he beat this one is because he's telling the story.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I love it.
To his own cult following, right?
I love
it. Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Ethan.
This is the beginning.
Oh, sorry. Any cons for you, Nils?
No,
he's still not ruler of the world.
Exactly. Yeah, like just standard.
But now you
got
have
two
followers.
So you got to start.
You started your cult, man. You started it.
Yep.
So if you want to consume one of your sessions, one of those followers can become level 1.
Right.
But that's entirely up to you. That's the way it'll work for leveling those 0 levels.
Yeah.
And we'll need names for them, and we'll need stats. Sorry.
Right. Okay. I'll email you about it. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's everything. How about you, Ethan? Pros and cons?
So I think my con would be that I nearly lost the armor 3 minutes after I put it on.
Yeah, that was a
but my pro would be that Nils smashed the Queen Lady and I got it back.
Okay.
Because I've spent how many months waiting to get this thing on and use it.
That's
that was almost my second pro.
For like since Kingspire, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My second pro would have to be the fact that both of Ethan's characters got the shit kicked out of them.
That was pretty remarkable. A twist of fate, right?
Yeah. I'm just glad Garrett got to do something useful in our escape.
With the food of the gods?
Yeah.
That was funny. I like that. That was very funny.
That was
very clever.
Let's see. For me, pros was doing all the kind of off-the-cuff role-playing with the crowsing tables, and that everybody, including Mike, got to participate in them. That was pretty fun. And I think con would be not being able to see you guys finally escape.
You were not quite there on the edge.
Yeah,
so close.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for a fun evening of gaming.
Yeah, nice seeing all you guys.
Yeah, I look forward to next Thursday, gentlemen.
All right.
Yep.
Have a good week.
Oh, look at that 20.
That was the personality roll.
Yeah. What I meant to say was.
And she's following.
Connor, she fell.
All right, guys. Good night.